Good morning, everyone. Brian here again with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning I have the review for us of the Atari 7800 prototype game, Pit Fighter. Now, the arcade cabinet original, which it is based upon, was developed by Atari Games and published by them here in the States. It was published by Konami in Japan in 1990. And it had been developed by Gary Stark, Mark Pierce, and Paul Quinn for Atari Games. And it was pretty widely ported to a lot of things. Your Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, Super NES, a number of home computer ports and such, and other goodies. Well, in 1992... Well, let's go over this. It was one of the first, but not the first game to use digitized sprites and animation. I forget which one, but there was one previously, not in the any of the fighting game genres. And the first fighting game genre to use that, to use digitized sprites and animations, was Home Data's Reikai Doshi Chinese Exorcist. That's R-E-I-K-A-I-D-O-S-H-I, and you know how to spell Chinese and Exorcist, I'm sure. That was the first fighting genre game to use digitized sprites and animations. So, technically, the arcade cabinet original of Pit Fighter was among the first in the fighting game, any of the fighting game genres. It's a pretty good game, you know. You fight your way through many different opponents, kind of tournament style, and about every 3, if you're playing in single player, you'll face a copycat or so of yourself. And at one point or so, if I'm not mistaken, you'll face off against multiple opponents at once. And eventually you'll face this shadowy figure who has been taunting you off and on after some matches along the way, so it's pretty cool. They actually even have a 2005 or 2007 film. I'm not sure if it's directly based on the game or what. I think it's somewhere in there. But yeah, there's even a film called Pit Fighter from the early 2000s, I believe it was, that has been released. Not sure if there's a connection or not, but interesting. Anyway, in 1992, or so it's supposed, Atari Corporation was looking at doing an Atari 7800 port. The developers working on it for them were Imagitech Design, that's M-A-I-M-A-G-I-T-E-C Design, and they were working on it for Atari Corporation at that time. And, well, unfortunately, the game turned out to be rather incomplete. There's not a whole lot to it. And, well, unfortunately, the idea of something like digitized sprites and animations is not really something the Atari 7800 could have handled. Though what they had working up, I think, you know, those Atari 7800 users who... really, I'm sure not all did, but those who had any idea what the console's capabilities may have been like probably would have found this acceptable if it had been a completed game, considering it would have been another Atari 7800 original library game and would have been, you know, may not have had the digitized sprites and animations, but still, for what you would get, would have been an okay trade-off. Anyway, I ordered a copy of the reproduction of the prototype game from Good Deal Games and Homebrew Heaven, with my good friend Michael Thomas, which my good friend Michael Thomason runs. Here is, it just comes as a loose cartridge here. There's no game or model number on it. There was one for development. I forgot to write it down, so I can't share that with you guys. But we can see here it says Atari 7800, game cartridge, Pit Fighter, Atari 7800 Pro System. It even has a top label. Looks pretty good for a reproduction cartridge. And the cartridge label art is not bad at all. Anyway, there's not a whole lot to this one, and this doesn't have to be a very, very long prototype game review, so I'm going to go ahead and get set up with our my Atari 7800, and we're going to take a little look into the gameplay. Okay, so here we go with the Atari 7800 prototype game Pit Fighter. For this one, I will note, because it makes things a bit easier, I am using the Atari 7800, Atari VCS 2600 gamepad controller I got from Retro Game Boys, because it just makes things a lot easier, and it happens to work in this case. Okay, here we go. Okay, first thing we might notice is there's no real sound or title screen, and things are pretty, how you would say, there's a lot of screen, I guess what you might call screen flicker, you know, something like that going on. We have, as you can see running around there, about 4 different prospective opponents. I'm the one in the, over in the left in the mostly pink trunks. We can see up here that one of the other things you can notice besides no title screen is there's no sound. They never really got around to doing a sound file. Up here in the corner is something white, which we can, the other ports and the original library, the arcade cabinet original, all had numerous weapons, and we can guess that this white thing up here was probably going to be a knife or some other type of weapon. Doesn't look exactly like Pit Fighter. Looks a lot more like maybe some type of Street Fighter. They look like generic Street Fighter characters. Although they're going around punching and all that, they really will not actually hurt you. Let's see, with my first button here, I have a punch, which also you can crouch with it. You can press up and do a kick. And, yeah, you got the 2 basic punches, up kick, crouch, which apparently can't do anything from a crouch. Your second button allows you to jump, but you don't have any jump kick or anything programmed in yet, so. And the other thing you'll notice is they apparently didn't get around to doing a sound file. Now, although these guys just run around, don't do anything, you can literally hurt and fight them and basically knock out 4 prospective opponents. You can see as they flash that you're hitting them. I got 1 down. There's about to be 2, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And then the other 2, and here I'm kind of getting more into up here, into being solid color. So as we can see, there's not much to this one at all. Also, you can, if you do a jump like near the, I believe it's the bottom of the screen, yeah, you will appear to float. You can go everywhere and will appear to float around until you decide to come back down. Kind of an interesting effect, but that's another thing that shows you how incomplete this is. Anyway, I can knock the other 2 of these guys out, which is kind of cool, and then there's not much else to it. Another 1 down. And you can apparently keep damaging the others, even though they're already out cold. See, I can just push him around some as I please. Come here. It's like I've also got that lift type of move that could possibly be used. I don't see where it actually comes into play any, and yeah, he's down too, and that's the end of that. And I'm kind of between solid and, yeah, down there, kind of between solid and not. And so are they, apparently. And that's pretty much what there is to this one. Then, of course, you can hit reset and do it all over again if you want to. So it's not much to play with. It is interesting. I mean, like I was saying before we got to the gameplay portion, although this is not nearly with digitized sprites and animation, it is pretty good looking and decent, though a little generic looking at this point. And I can see where Atari 7800 console owners who knew what the limitations of the console were, something like this as a complete version of this game would have been another Atari 7800 original library game and could have been well appreciated. Basically, the reason why Atari Corporation didn't have it finished, I guess, is because they kind of realized it was kind of late coming, and this was a pretty big departure from what the arcade cabinet original would be like, so they didn't go through with it. But also, since it was being developed in 92, well, later in 92 was when the classic console lines for Atari were under Atari Corporation were being all discontinued, so that probably played a factor too. So anyway, that's a little bit of enough of the gameplay. I think you guys get the idea with that. Okay, so that was Pit Fighter, a prototype game for the Atari 7800. As some have noted, like in my Atari 7800 Pro System Gamers Facebook group, the game isn't much and is, forgive my way of putting this, but as some of them have put it, pretty much crap in this form. Though it does look like, again, pardon me, but crap that could have had some potential. Especially for Atari 7800, like I kept saying, owners who would have known that the console would not really been capable of the digitized sprites and animations, this could have been passable as a complete game. Why do I do these little game reviews on really incomplete prototypes? Well, it's kind of like when I did the Atari VCS 2600 prototype game, Care Bears, which was by Coleco. There's not much to it except for two bears on there, one floating on clouds, one you can move left and right, but not much else. But Care Bears was a big, good franchise. It could have been pretty good. And it's kind of an interesting look at what might have been. Same thing with Pit Fighter for the Atari 7800. It's an interesting look at what might have been. And in a way, it could also be one at what maybe possibly still could be, because there's always the hope that my video or someone else's who's done one on it might inspire, say, a homebrew developer or ProBrew developer to say, I'm pretty sure I could take that the code for that prototype game, take that game ROM, and make a complete version, and we might get one day that way. If they think that's a really good idea, you never know. Personally, I'm going to be with one of those who would have said, like I've seen some comment, it would have been nice to have one more Atari 7800 original library game had it been complete and released, and if we were to get homebrew or ProBrew, that would still be cool. So that's the other reason I do this, because it's an interesting look at what might have been and an interesting look at what possibly could be with doing these rather incomplete prototype game reviews. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that little look into that. For what little there is to look into on it. It's pretty cool, and like I said, you can get this as a prototype game, as a reproduction cartridge through Good Deal Games and Homebrew Heaven, which my good friend Michael Thompson runs. Though, unfortunately, starting about June 16th, I forget if that's Martin Luther King Jr. Day or what, I forget what the holiday was supposed to be, to about, I forget if it's to either late April to early May, or late May to early April, or late April to early May. They tend to take pretty much yearly that time off, I guess, to kind of take a break, maybe reorganize, get more stocks and stuff back in order and everything, and not deal with the selling part as much. So they're on their yearly vacation period now. So if you were to order this or something else from Good Deal Games and Homebrew Heaven right now, you may be waiting a good 1.5 to 2.5 months to get it. But still, that is one place you can find it, and I will leave a link. It doesn't work where I can actually leave a link where you can directly go to it, as the site is not directly searchable like that. But I will leave a link to Good Deal Games and Homebrew Heaven, so those who may be interested in this can take all you do is select Atari 7800 and scroll down looking for it in alphabetical order. And there are plenty of other great games there to take a look into. So I will leave that. As well as a link to the Wikipedia article, which talks about the arcade cabinet original and the various ports. So this one isn't really discussed. You can delve a bit deeper into it if you want, for those who maybe care to read up on it further. In the meantime, I also have a couple of recommendations and links. My preferred YouTubers, Phil, with his channel, The No Swear Gamer, and Pet Says Jim 1, both have nice little videos taking a short look into this. Phil's is more of a review video. Jim's is more looking into just a quick gameplay look, less than 2 minutes. So I'll leave links to those as well as to the Wikipedia article and to Good Deal Games in Homebrew Heaven for those who may care to just take a further look into all this. Anyway, if you guys enjoy my channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comments section below. I will have my Atari VCS 2600 original library review upcoming this coming Wednesday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. You guys know how it is with me, no spoilers about it. Just keep your eyes peeled for the announcement post, which will be on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And you'll find out that way. Honestly, this last week was pretty busy with, let's see, I had my Sunday's Prober review, then I had, I believe it was an unboxing styles package video sometime shortly after, and then had the original library review for the Atari 7800, I believe it was, as a matter of fact. And I believe had, what was it, I don't think it was another unboxing video. It might have been. And of course a special topics video and all that, so you know. This past week was very busy. Presumably things will possibly slow down a bit moving forward this coming week, but there is that review, Atari VCS 2600 original library review coming up on Wednesday, so keep your eyes peeled for the announcement post on that. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful Sunday. Big shout out to my Atari 7800 Pro System Gamers Facebook group. Love you guys over there, and hopefully y'all will get this video before too terribly long this morning. And again, in the meantime, you guys have a wonderful Sunday. Take care, and I will hopefully see you all again back here on Wednesday.